Welcome back to Unaware Commentary, the place for Pokemon TCG battle narration that doesn't care about the stats.
Welcome back, trainers, to another exciting Pokemon TCG battle narration. We are catching up with our players here who are already set up for the game, having drawn those opening hands, found a couple of basic Pokemon to start in the active position and set out their 6 prize cards. We do see our player 1 on the left going first of this game, drawing for turn and going in to the deck with a Buddy Poffin, an item card that allows them to find 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less and place them on the bench. We do see the finding of a Dreepy and a Duskull. Our player 1 starting a Dreepy in the active position, likely the Dragapult EX Dusknoir deck being the deck of choice here. We see the attachment of a Fire Energy to the active and just a pass over to our player 2 who has started a Meowth EX in the active position. You see the placement of an Air Balloon onto that Meowth EX, going to reduce that retreat cost by 2 and add some additional movement flexibility to be able to retreat a little bit easier and save on that energy requirement. You see the playing of a Lily's Determination, shuffling that hand into the deck, drawing 8 cards, as no prize cards have been taken, with 6 prize cards meeting the condition of Lily's Determination to see the full 8 cards. The best supporter for drawing cards in the current TCG, as it is ubiquitous in all of the decks. For that reason, a tough start for our player 2 here, as Meowth EX is ideally a resource to be played from the hand, allowing for the utilization of that last ditch catch ability. However, being that it started on the battlefield, we will not be seeing it go into the deck to find a supporter card. We did find a Riolu off of the Lily's Determination and a Rocky Fighting Energy that'll find its way onto that benched Riolu. Rocky Fighting Energy, a special energy card specific for the fighting type that makes it so the secondary effects of attacks do not affect Pokemon with the Rocky Fighting Energy attached. That would include things like damage counters from Phantom Dive, or the damage counters from things like Powerful Hand in an Alakazam deck. We have seen Alakazam recently find its way into some of these Dragapult EX decks, but unlikely, as it was a kind of a special tech inclusion that has found its way around. We did see the playing of a Pokepad going into the deck and finding a Riolu. See, being that we are playing the 80 HP Riolu for our player 2, unlikely we would see something like a Buddy Poffin, as they would not be grabbable due to their increased HP, but it does allow them to survive a little bit better into combinations of things like Monkey Dory and Phantom Dive damage, so they not have that Rocky Fighting Energy. You see a draw from our player 1 after they pass over the evolution of the Duskull into a Dusclops on the bench. The playing of a Rare Candy into a Dragapult. No Dracloak needed here. Do we have the Psychic Energy, and we can start Phantom Diving this turn? Looks like we are considering our supporter for turn. It is going to be a Boss's Orders, bringing up the Riolu on the bench without an energy. We have the Psychic Energy. It does look like we're just going to see essentially that Jet Headbutt come out here, doing 70 damage to that Riolu. Not going to take a knockout, as these are the 80 HP. Riolu going to be able to survive for the turn. We did not see the activation of that Curse Blast on the bench. That Dusclops still sitting there, capable of putting 50 damage counters on a future turn after giving up a prize card for the activation of that ability. Our player 2 here in a tough situation, as oh no, the Riolu is not going to be a concern of potentially being knocked out, as it is going to evolve into a Mega Lucario. That Mega Lucario still having the 70 damage on it, but that 340 HP is certainly going to put it in a position where it is not as worried about getting knocked out by just a Phantom Dive next turn, or it would demand the combination of multiple cards for there to be a knockout scene on the following turn. Just going to see the attachment of a Rocky Fighting Energy to that active Lucario. Unlikely we would see a way to accelerate more Fighting Energy into play, so likely not going to see a Mega Brave this turn. But there are no Fighting Energy in the discard pile. We do not have the Lunatone and Solrock draw engine set up. It is a Rocky Fighting Energy, so the Mega Lucario wouldn't be able to have Phantom Dive damage counters placed on it if it does find its way onto the bench at some point in this game, unless potentially a Crushing Hammer comes out of the hand of our player 1 at some point. Just considering what options may be available to our player 2 to potentially increase damage. Looks like a Premium Power Pro, maybe a Black Belt's Training in the hand. No additional cards going to be played from the hand. Just an Aura Jab coming out to doing 130 damage to that active Dragapult. We do see the draw from the turn going into the deck with a Pokepad. Our player 1 looking for a non-rule box Pokemon to put into the hand. It is going to be that Dracloak, going to evolve on the benched Dreepy, going to make Recon Directive available this turn to see some additional resources off the top of the deck. Recon Directive allowing for, we're looking at the top 2 cards, putting one into the hand and one onto the bottom of the deck. As we will see here, our choices look like potentially a Dark Energy. Couldn't quite peek at that other choice as it makes its way into the hand. We do see a Dusknoir find its way onto that benched Dusclops with the attachment of a Fire Energy potentially onto the bench, meaning that we wouldn't see a Phantom Dive this turn. Just going to set up a potential future attacker. We do see, oh, are we considering activating the Curse Blast? Could put damage counters on something like the Meowth. No, it's going to take out the benched Riolu, as it was going to be immune from those Phantom Dive counters. Both players taking a prize here, and we're just going to see a second Jet Hut, but doing 70 more damage to the active Mega Lucario, putting it at 140 damage counters. Now definitely susceptible to something like a Phantom Dive in the following turn, but does the Dragapult make it through the turn? The attachment of a Fighting Energy or some additional buffs here could make it so that the Dragapult EX is not going to be an optimal attacker in the following turn. We do see a basic Fighting Energy in the hand of our player 2. It could potentially find its way onto that Mega Lucario. Where do we want to go? Back into the deck. Does look like there may be a Lily's Determination in the hand. Would allow for a better hand to potentially be available here, as if we just leave the Mega Lucario as our attacker in the active position and it does get knocked out, there is not a great follow-up, as this is a primarily stage 1 deck. There is not the basics to just be able to put down and get to attacking. We do see the playing of a Gravity Mountain, reducing the HP of stage 2 Pokemon by 30, putting that Dragapult down to a total of 290 HP. We did see the playing of a Premium Power Pro out of the hand, increasing the damage of fighting type attacks. Use this turn by 30, going to make things like Aura Jab do 160 damage, or Mega Brave going all the way up to 300 damage would definitely be capable of taking a knockout. We did not see the attachment of that basic Fighting Energy that was in the hand. Just a Lily's Determination going into the deck and seeing 6 cards here, potentially wanting to maintain that resource should we get that Soul Rock and Lunatone engine set up. Wanting to be able to find that energy later in the game. There is the option for prize cards to potentially be taken here. We do see another Fighting Energy, an Ultra Ball in the hand, a Fighting Gong in the hand to be able to go get half of that draw engine should we choose. We do see the attachment of the basic Fighting Energy just going to make its way onto the Riolu on the bench, going into the deck with a Fighting Gong. Going to grab a Pokemon here. Could be something like a Soul Rock, a Lunatone, maybe a Makokita if we want to set up a Dusting option. Not seeing that initially as a choice, nothing being put up to the front of the deck. As players go through their deck searches, often they will try to figure out what resources may be available, mostly on their initial deck search, but as you're going through the game, it's important to keep tabs on what are going to be available to you. It looks like the Pokemon of choice are going to be the Lunatone. We do see the Aura Jab attack doing 160 because of the reduced HP from Gravity Mountain. We did just have the combination of cards to be able to take a knockout on that Dragapult EX. Our player 2, once he has completed shuffling, will take 2 prizes. Our player 1 going ahead and starting his turn, promoting the Dracloak as it is the only Pokemon available. Going to Recon Directive, choosing to take a Psychic Energy off the Recon Directive attachment from hand. The playing of a Meowth. Hey, look, the other card was a Lily's Determination. No issue being able to find that in the deck. Just going to play that Lily's Determination, shuffle in the hand, and draw 6 cards. Hoping to find a way to get a Dragapult attack off of this turn. Trying to hunt down maybe something like a Pheasantipity, another Buddy Poppin to get set back up. Needing to get Duskulls in play to potentially activate more Curse Blasts in this game. Looking to get more Dreepies in play, to get Dracloaks, to get Recon Directives, to get eventual Phantom Dives. There's a lot that we can see in this hand here that could be very helpful. You see Crispin, not going to be an option as we already played our supporter for turn. You see Monkey Dory, potentially an option if the Mega Lucario is not able to stack together the combination of cards necessary to take knockouts on the following turns. The playing of a Buddy Poppin going into the deck, finding a Badoo and a Dreepy. So possible that we don't have the means of getting a Dragapult into play this turn. Just going to need to get that Dragapult out of the active position, but it's not being threatened with something like a Badoo to limit the resources that would be available to be played by our player 2. Looks like, oh, we do have 3 prize cards that have been taken. We're going to see a special red card being utilized. Our player 2 having to shuffle in their hand, put it on the bottom of the deck, and draw just 3 resources. A devastating combination. Something like special red card plus Badoo going to heavily limit the resources available to our player. Being that they are at 3 prizes, I do not think it's going to be difficult for this Mega Lucario to knock out the Badoo, but a turn that is going to stall them as their 3 prize liability is stuck in the active and their item cards are stuck in their hand because of Badoo's Itchy Pollen for the Delta 10 to damage to that Mega Lucario, who is just going to Aura Drab, take a knockout, take that prize card. You see the promotion of a Dragapult back into the active position. Gonna need to track down another Psychic Energy here and a Dragapult to be able to get back in business. A Recon Directive here, considering what cards to take, are going to find a Pheasantipity. That Badoo was knocked out last turn by the Aura Jab, so the activation of Flip the Script and drawing 3 cards, you find a Psychic Energy and a Pokepad able to go into the deck and find another Dragapult to evolve the Dreepy on the bench. We're going to be able to see another Recon Directive here, see some more cards. This is what we want to see when we're trying to set up and not want to use a Lily's Determination potentially as our supporter card. Be able to utilize those resources early. Considering the cards in hand, do we have the option to get into a Dragapult? It does not look like it unless it is right there off the Recon Directive. Hello, Dragapult EX. Welcome back to the game into the active position, all powered up to a Phantom Dive. The Lucario on the other side of the battlefield, who has 150 damage counters on it from previous Jet Headbutts and that Itchy Pollen. Do see 60 damage counters going to be placed onto the bench of our player 2. Just cleaning up the board state here a little bit. That Mega Lucario is going to get knocked out. 3 prize cards being taken. Looks like those 60 damage counters did find their way onto the Lunatone on the bench. Lunatone only 110 HP, so another Phantom Dive would be able to knock it out. But we do see a Riolu here, the playing of a Fighting Gong, going into the deck, finding a Fighting Energy. Do we have a Soul Rock potentially to assist in drawing some more cards, seeing some more resources? Mega Signal coming out, being able to find the Mega Lucario. Mega Lucario there. Do we have Boss's Orders? Do we have Premium Power for Boss's Orders? Going to be able to pull up the Pheasantipity, take a knockout. Thank you so much for watching, players. We will catch you next time.